CNN is reporting Newsom and Trump face off from a distance as Los Angeles fires burn. Donald Trump has been giving Newsom the old Donald Trump at 2 in the morning tweeting treatment, and it's been pretty glorious. CNN is reporting advisors to California Governor Gavin Newsom spent the week monitoring new White House advanced staffer social media accounts. See, he's just sending the mean tweets and changing the world, hoping for clues for where President Donald Trump might be headed when he lands in Los Angeles on Friday afternoon to talk about the wildfire damage. That's the state of relations as California and the federal government face one of the most expensive natural disasters ever and perhaps one of the most complex in American history. No one is talking between the Democratic governor's team and the newly inaugurated presidents. 2 people on the governor's team told CNN through a spokesman for the governor told CNN on Friday that he will head to the airport to greet Air Force One. Now, apparently, he did meet the president. Gavin Newsom did meet the president, and he was received fairly well, if I understand correctly. They shook hands, and they talked a little bit. Donald Trump has floated the idea of withholding aid based on, I believe, 2 conditions, one of them being voter ID in California, which it's an odd thing to connect to wildfire or to emergency relief, but I don't hate the idea of having California actually have to do voter ID. And what was the other one?
Pretty wild. I mean, I'm actually surprised at this one. This is pretty crazy.
What?
Just like, stipulating giving out aid during a crisis.
Sounds like a California conservative over here.
It just seems pretty crazy. I mean, obviously it's my home. I'm from LA, so it's like, I mean, things are pretty rough over there right now.
I'm going to strongly agree with you, and moreover, it's not only, I think, bad, like, morally for what the government should be doing there. I think it's just really poor politics. People forget that California is one of the biggest states that has the most Republicans in it, and to win the House, you need a lot of those seats. So there was actually one new rep from Republican rep from California, Young Kim, who said playing politics with people's livelihoods is unacceptable and a slap in the face to the Southern California wildfire victims. With a tight majority in the House, many seats were picked up in California, and this is not going to help them out with Republicans trying to stipulate aid. So I think it's a bad move politically, because
I think
they're going to lose some seats in a couple of years.
It can't be like, and I think this is where we need to draw the line. Like, people obviously, I used to play a little more, not intentionally, to my side, just because I hadn't explored the political spectrum so much, right? It's like we're all on the spectrum, but to some extent. And I think, looking at it left and right is problematic. You kind of have to take individual issues and look at first what's humane. And I think that's a very, very increasingly rare thing. People just look at, in North Carolina, Republicans suffer. Who cares? I watched a TikTok of a girl saying that. She's like, I don't know if you other liberals understand that Republicans are enjoy that Los Angeles burned down because, we were all enjoyed when North Carolina got destroyed. And I'm like, no, you sick witch. Like, no, we didn't. We're not happy now. We weren't happy then. And quite frankly, there are plenty of right-leaning people that probably suffered in the LA fires and vice versa in North Carolina. So do not tell me that, this is a political storm, right? This isn't Q. We're not going into the storm here, okay? But I do think, I understand Trump trying to play hardball with a state and with a governor, and I'm not opposed to some alternative or interesting or unheard of tactics when you're playing hardball like this. However, in terms of withholding federal taxpayer dollars, I think if you went back to finding out what the American people would want, I do not believe that the average American taxpayer would want to withhold their money from emergency relief in an area based upon political grandstanding. And I'm very pro-Trump. I do not think an average American taxpayer would agree with that.
I think this is owning the libs running amok a bit. Trump, hey, you want some financial aid? F you, get voter ID laws, and what was the other stipulation? So
I don't remember what the other one was, and I can't find it here.
It was just like
sorry about that.
Owning the libs run amok, I think, is what's going on here.
By the way, I want to say this too. Pacific Palisades is not like 7th Street in downtown LA or like near Skid Row. Pacific Palisades is nicer than any city you live in your red state. Pacific Palisades is like one of the, if you're like, for instance, like wide areas and stuff, this is a very wide area and very, very clean and very rich. And this is like the idealistic area of what an America can look like.
And the second one was to release the water, which actually, so I think that one actually ties into the issue with the fires and stuff. The fact that the water situation in California California is difficult to manage or whatever. And I don't know
Save the fish.
Yeah, I mean that's what as far as I know, the situation is there is a smelt in a bay up in Northern California, and because of the way that the water is flowing and the way that they have the dam set up, it pushes the fresh water further out into the San Francisco Bay, and so the brackish water doesn't come so far in, making the habitat suitable for the smelt. If they allow the water to flow south into Southern California, then the brackish water would actually move further into the
Sounds
bay.
like you're explaining a woman's mind here. It's just like, what? It's
I mean, I can do that too.
upstream and downstream and smelt fish. I'm like, it sounds like a mess.
But it seems like a mess. But the point that I'm making is, this little fish is alleged to be the reason why Southern California has problems with water. And I think that if that is the case, like if the situation is that, hey, the environmentalists are actually the reason why California doesn't have water to fight fires in Southern California, one of the most densely populated regions in the United States, and clearly needs water badly because of the winds and because of the other mismanagement of the forest and stuff, then I think that it's okay to say, look, this needs to happen. If you're going to come to the federal government and say we need you to fund it, then the federal government should be able to say you need to do these things to fix the problem. Now the voter ID, hold on, the voter ID might be a step too far, but the situation of like you need to make sure that you don't need to come to us again for the same problem, that I think might actually have some merit.
Yeah, I agree.
It could be like a state and federal government thing, and the only reason I think this is going to it's going to set a bad precedent. There will be a Democratic president in the future, and there will be a natural disaster in a red-leaning area when that happens, and you'd hate for them to have a dumb reason that they say that you guys need to accept, or we won't release more aid. So
that's
or maybe I'm thinking too in depth about it. Own the libs all you want.
But there's already strings attached to all sorts of things from the federal government. The reason that you have the drinking age 21 is because the feds say we won't give you any money for your roads.
That's different than a natural disaster. I don't think
it's still strings.
There was people saying that what Trump did in this case was an impeachable offense, and they were like, obviously you don't understand how these things go together.
He's going to get impeached over something stupid at least one more time in the second term. I foresee after the midterms, the Republicans are going to lose the House.
I really hope not. Not because I think that they'll actually have any kind of significant real issue that they're going to bring up, but because of the fact that he did have a clear victory in popular vote and with the Electoral College. So I can't imagine any kind of positive outcome of trying to impeach Donald Trump again. So
no, and also reminding you guys, California is also kind of a unique place because sort of like Chicago, it's run like a mob. I was really happy when Tucker touched on this. The fact that Maxine Waters doesn't even have to live in her district. Her supporters tried to kill me. You can watch this on YouTube. They tried to kill me. I had to get rescued. I had to jump into a stranger's car at a red light to get away from them while trying to interview them in front of her office. Maxine Waters.
Anti-Maxine. She's garbage.
Anti-Maxine, who looks like she's gotten too many vaccines. She's like, but she
melted wax.
Black
candle.
She does, melted waxine. No, but she's out there now. She lives in like a mansion outside of her district. And I think Tucker touched on this where he said, directly, he goes, it's quite hilarious because there's no place that you can really point to with so much corruption where people can be so disliked by the populace, not only retain power, but rise to prominence. Like when I went and covered Kamala Harris during the original run for the primaries for the Democratic ticket, she couldn't fill half of a high school gymnasium. I have this on video. She couldn't fill half of a high school gymnasium, yet she became the vice president. She ascended, right, from attorney general. She became, senator. We have the same thing going on with many people, including Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, Schiff, right? I mean, the list goes on. So that state is something to keep an eye on. And sometimes I do wonder if, at very much, if and only if, Maxine Waters and some of these people, we should keep an eye and realize that Trump might be playing long-term political strategy to break up a cartel, right? You don't know.
I mean, I think that Maxine Waters is among the worst in the
Would you or would you not?
Oh, of course not. Like I said, she looks like a melted wax candle.
Would you?
Hey,
vote for her.
If we right now we're looking at the Senate vote for Pete Hegseth, and the Republicans are now at 50 and the yeses are at 50, the noes are at a total of 49, and I think that means that even if the last vote is yeah, it is now, they need it, so it's 50-50, and they'll need the tiebreaker, which will be JD Vance. So it looks like, barring anything weird going on, it looks like Pete Hegseth will be the SecDef.
I think it was Susan Collins of Maine's and Murkowski of Alaska.
I hate these people.
Were voting. The thing is, though, they're in purple districts, and whatever, we can avoid the politics. What I think is interesting, though, is that there were whispers that Mitch McConnell was thinking about, backstabbing Donald Trump. Usually I have surprisingly good things to say about Mitch McConnell, but I'm surprised and happily surprised that he decided to go with Pete Hegseth and not ruin this nomination process.
I do think that this is going to be the situation with multiple people. I wouldn't be surprised if you see this with RFK. I wouldn't be surprised if you see this with Tulsi Gabbard. I wouldn't be surprised if you see this kind of result with Cash Patelis either.
Why do our people flip on us? And I know
because
the answer to that.
Because of their constituency.
No, okay. That's like the simple answer.
Simple.
I meant why is
who really is
why
in
is
charge.
it? But why is it that they do not that the Dems typically do not flip on themselves at an extent?
Well,
that
look, they
the
do.
public
You just need to look for those examples. They do all the time.
but every time you'll always see these same people.
So, for example, Joe Manchin in West Virginia here went as an independent. John Fetterman of Pennsylvania. If you ask any Democrats about these guys, they despise them.
Yeah, and
so
also
it exists, but we just exist in our
And also,
bubble.
I think that Marco Rubio got it confirmed by 99 to 0.
Well, he was a
99 to
former
1.
senator too, so it helps once you're buddies with all the senators.
True, but still, it's like so. I mean, whereas I understand the impulse that you're feeling, because honestly, Murkowski and Collins really are frustrating, but it's not really a situation where it doesn't happen to the Democrats or whatever.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.